Alright, so let's talk about something that trips up so many people in the print-on-demand world: pricing. Price your awesome new t-shirt design too high, and suddenly your store is a ghost town, no sales, just you and your amazing designs wondering what went wrong. But then, there's the other side of the coin. You think, okay, I'll go lower. And sure, maybe you start seeing a trickle of sales. But then you look at your actual bank account, after all the fees, the cost of the blank product, the printing, the shipping, and you realize you're basically working for pennies. Or worse, you might actually be losing money on every single sale. That's not a business, that's an expensive hobby. So if you're nodding along thinking, yep, that's me, stuck between a rock and a hard place, then you are in exactly the right spot. Because today I'm going to break it all down for you. Stick around because this is the information that can literally transform your pod store. The first thing we absolutely have to nail down is understanding every single cost component that goes into your product price. If you don't know your baseline, you're flying blind. First up, and probably the most obvious, is the base cost. This is what your print-on-demand provider charges you for the actual physical product, say, a Bella Plus Canvas t-shirt, plus the cost of printing your design onto it. Next up, and this is a big one that often gets underestimated, is the shipping cost. It varies significantly depending on where your customer is located, where your print provider is shipping from, the size and weight of the item, and even the shipping service they use. Then of course the platforms themselves want their cut. These are your marketplace fees or platform fees. If you're selling on Etsy, they take a percentage of your total sale price, including shipping, plus a transaction fee and a listing fee. If you're using Shopify, you have your monthly subscription fee, and then payment processing fees for every transaction. So, you add all those up, your base cost, your estimated shipping cost for your primary market, and your marketplace or payment processing fees. And bam! That's your break-even point. Understanding this calculation, from base cost to final profit, is absolutely fundamental. Okay, so we know our costs. We've meticulously added up the base product, the printing, the shipping, and those pesky platform fees. We have our break-even point. But just breaking even isn't why we're in business, right? We want to make some actual money. Generally, for most print-on-demand items, you're looking for a healthy profit margin somewhere in the 30% to 50% range on top of your total costs. This range is generally considered healthy because it gives you enough buffer to cover any unexpected costs, invest in marketing, pay for design tools or freelancers, and importantly, actually pay yourself for your time and effort. Aiming too low might get you sales, but you'll be working very hard for very little. It's always a good idea to browse successful stores in your niche to see what their pricing looks like, not to copy, but to understand the market landscape. But here's where it gets interesting. You're not stuck with those basic ranges. Certain factors can allow you to comfortably charge more and achieve those higher profit margins. If you're targeting a passionate niche, think specific dog breeds, obscure hobbies, or dedicated fan groups. People are often willing to pay more for something that speaks directly to them. Think about what your design means to your ideal customer, and price it to reflect that unique value. Alright, let's dive deep into shipping because this is an area that can absolutely make or break not only your customer's experience but also your profit margins. For domestic shipping, let's say within the US, you're looking at different rates depending on your supplier and the specific product. Printful, for example, might charge around $4.69 for a standard t-shirt. Mugs, being a bit bulkier and more fragile, will typically cost more to ship than a t-shirt. Delivery times for domestic orders are usually in the 2 to 7 business day range after fulfillment. Now, international shipping, that's a whole different ballgame. It's almost always going to be significantly more expensive. For mugs, sending one overseas could easily cost you $9, $10, or even more. For t-shirts, international shipping might range from $7 to $12, sometimes higher. And it's not just the cost, it also takes longer. International delivery can take anywhere from 7 to 21 business days, or even more. You absolutely need to use the tools and information your print providers offer. Now let's talk about those two magic words that every online shopper loves to see. Free shipping. It's a powerful psychological pricing strategy, not a charity. There's a very good reason why so many successful sellers push the free shipping angle. These platforms often give preferential treatment in search results to listings that offer free shipping. So, how do you offer this free shipping without losing your shirt? There are two main smart options. The first and probably most common method is to simply include the average shipping cost in your retail price. For example, if your t-shirt costs $10 to produce, shipping is $4.50, and you want $5.50 profit, you'd normally price it at $20 plus $4.50 shipping. To offer free shipping, you'd price it at $24.50 and list it with free shipping. Another really effective strategy is to offer free shipping over a certain threshold. This increases your average order value, AOV, which is fantastic for your bottom line. Buyers often perceive free shipping as a significant bonus or a deal, even if the base price of the item has been adjusted slightly to cover that cost. Test it out. See which method works best for your store and your customers. Alright, we've talked about product costs, we've talked about shipping, and we've talked about setting profit margins. But hold on, because there's another layer of costs that can sneak up on you if you're not vigilant. I'm talking about taxes, platform fees beyond the basics, and all those little hidden operational expenses. Let's take Etsy as a prime example. We mentioned the 6.5% transaction fee, which applies to the total order amount. Then there's the 20-cent listing fee, which you pay every time you list a new item or an existing listing renews after 4 months or sells. And if you use Etsy payments, there's also a payment processing fee. Now, if you're on Shopify, your fee structure is a bit different, but just as important to track. You've got your non-negotiable monthly subscription fee, which for the basic plan is around $39 a month. On top of that, if you're using Shopify payments, their standard online transaction fee is around 2.9% plus 30 cents for each sale. But it doesn't stop there with just the main platform fees. If you're selling internationally and your print provider charges you in USD but you sell in EUR or AUD, you might encounter currency conversion fees. The key here is meticulous tracking and awareness. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground on pricing and shipping, so let's bring it all together with some quick actionable pro tips to make sure you're not just making sales, but actually building a profitable, sustainable, and scalable print-on-demand business. First and foremost, know your all-in cost. This isn't just the base cost of the t-shirt or mug from your supplier, it's the base product cost, plus the exact shipping cost for that item to its most common destinations, plus all those little marketplace fees. Second, try to set a target dollar amount profit per product, not just a percentage margin. While a 40% margin sounds good on paper, 40% of a $15 item is very different in terms of actual cash in your pocket compared to 40% of a $30 item. Third, if you're going for that free shipping appeal, make absolutely sure you've accurately and fully built the actual average shipping cost into your item's retail price. Fourth, leverage psychological pricing, often called odd pricing or charm pricing. This is the classic strategy of pricing an item at $24.99 instead of $25. And finally, while it's smart to monitor what your competitors are doing with their pricing, do not get caught in a race to the bottom. Focus on differentiating yourself through unique designs, a strong brand voice, excellent customer service, and targeting a specific niche. So there you have it. Pricing your products correctly is one of the absolute most important decisions you'll make in your print-on-demand journey. It's not just about picking a number, it's about strategy, understanding your costs, knowing your customer, and valuing what you bring to the table. Get your pricing right, and your store doesn't just survive, it thrives. It becomes scalable, allowing you to reinvest in growth, marketing, and new designs. It becomes sustainable, meaning you're not constantly stressed about razor-thin margins. And most importantly, it becomes profitable, actually rewarding you for your hard work and creativity. So please, take your time with this. Do the math, use a spreadsheet, track every single cost, and always lead with value.